Everyone, can I get a thumbs up if people can hear me? All right, thank you. Sure. All right, good morning. I'm Deborah Donovan, Chair of the Data Governance Committee, present in Brandon, Mississippi. This meeting of the Data Governance Committee is being held today, Friday, September 16th, 2022 at 9 a.m. pursuant to Mississippi Code annotated section 25415 with some committee members present via teleconference. And the notice of this meeting, including the date, time, place, and purpose, has been posted, and an audio recording is being made of this meeting, and minutes of this meeting will be recorded. Due to the virtual platform today, we are asking that all voting data owners please turn your cameras on. Okay. Do a roll call. As I call the names of the voting committee members, please state the location of your presence, city and state for this meeting. Before we do that, I want to recognize that we've had some changes in our membership list. We have Wendy Clemens now representing CTE, Dr. Boykin representing special education, Dr. Tell representing compulsory education, compulsory attendance, Letitia Johnson as data owner for school financial services. And I also wanted to mention we have a new security and privacy director since our last public meeting. Join us, Wade Grant, as well. All right, get started with roll call. Alan Burrow. Joanne Malone.
President from the Life Share House on the campus of Schools for the Deaf and Blind.
Wendy Clemens. Marita Tell.
I'm Marita Tell, President from the CTE building, the School for the Deaf and Blind.
Jill Dent. Jill, you're muted. See you there. All right, I see Jill. She's here. We'll move on. Let her work out her audio difficulties. Tanette Smith. Judy Nelson. I see Judy on.
Present, Mississippi School for the Deaf and Blind.
Thank you, Judy. And Tanette, are you there as well? I see Tanette on, but.
Deborah, I saw her a minute ago. She was on screen a minute ago.
Okay, all right. Try to come back. All right, Scott Clements.
Present, 500 Graymont, Jackson, Mississippi.
Thank you. Dexter Brookins. Kristen Lynn. See Kristen there on the list. Come back.
Kristen is here. She's in the bistro.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Lee Johnson.
Yeah, she's in the bistro.
Okay. Thank you. Donna Hills.
She's in the bistro.
Thanks. I see her. Multiple locations making it a little difficult this morning. Brian McGarty.
Hey, good morning. Brian McGarty, Woolfolk Building, Jackson, Mississippi.
Great. Letitia Johnson.
Good morning, President Madison, Mississippi.
Sandra Robertson.
In the bistro.
Thank you. Tammy Crissetti,
You're not on camera, she can't see you.
In the bistro.
all right, Jennifer Boykin, Jackie Simpson,
Present in the bistro.
Corey Murphy,
Good morning, President. School for the Deaf and Blind, Dorm 4, Jackson, Mississippi.
Elizabeth Simmons, and Sarita Donaldson.
Present, Jackson, Mississippi.
All right, so a quorum of the committee is present at the location stated for conducting a meeting through teleconference means.
Hey, Deborah, I'm sorry. This is Wendy Clemens. I missed the roll call. I was a bit late.
Okay.
I'm
thank
in
you.
Brandon. Mhm.
Thank you, Wendy. I don't know, Tina, if you're there, if for those of you in the bistro, when we have, since it sounds like when people come off mute, there's a lot of echoing. So if we can just maybe designate one person that's there to use their computer when if we have people that are in the bistro that need to present, that might help us with some of the noise or the echo. But we'll try this out. Okay, so we have two sets of meetings to meeting minutes to approve. Can I get a motion to approve the June 10th, 22 special called meeting minutes?
Corey Murphy, so moved.
Thank you.
Brian
And a
McGarity, second.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. You have an approval of the July 14th, 22 minutes. Can I get a motion for that?
Second
Lee
motion,
Johnson.
the minutes.
Okay, I heard Joanne for the first. Can I get a second? Jackie, second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up, approval of the agenda for today's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'm Marita Tell. I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Have a second?
Wendy
Sarita
Clemens,
Downs.
second.
Okay.
We got Wendy. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, so first up, we have work group reports. Going to turn it over to Donna Hales for an update on data sharing agreement work group. I think everyone else is muted. Donna, so you might be okay to go off mute.
Okay, this is Donna. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so an update on the data sharing work group since our last meeting. For Boston University, that data sharing agreement was amended to add some additional data elements to it. For the California State University at Northridge, we amended that to extend it an additional year. And for Harvard University, we amended it to extend it for 23 months. And also, and the peer agreement was executed, which is where we're assessing the efficiency of funding for the ESA scholarships that are granted by the Office of Special Education. So there wasn't any interagency agreements that came through the data sharing work group. So that concludes my report.
Great, thank you, Donna. Next up, informational item on the course code work group from Tammy Crissetti. So maybe Tammy's there somewhere in the bistro.
Deborah, can you speak?
Yep, I
Okay.
can, and I can
I've
hear
got
you.
it on
Thank you.
mine, so I'll just turn it up. Can y'all hear it if I turn it up?
Getting the sound blocked out again and give just a second.
They're trying to get the sound worked out, Deborah. So they said just give just a sec.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not muted.
Can you hear us? Are we coming through loud and clear?
Yes, I can hear. Everyone else good?
All right. We're good to go. Who's on third now?
She talking?
No.
This is Mary Hilton, budget diary.
Deborah, I think we're good to go now if you want to resume.
Okay. All right. Oh, so Tammy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was up. I didn't hear you say that. I apologize.
No problem. We're ready for an update on the course code work group.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
There was a little bit of background noise there. If the phones just stay still, I think we'll be in a good spot.
Okay, maybe is this better? Can you hear me?
That's great. Thank you.
So we have had training over in August and the end of June. We had some training on the course code report forms that the districts will have to use in order to submit course code changes. We have actually, and their deadline is October the 30th to submit for 23-24 school year for a new course code. And so we've already had some districts to reply back, and they are utilizing the form. I believe Ocean Springs was one district that has already utilized the form, submitted a course code for the 23-24 school year. They understood it first whenever we were explaining to them, and then they were a little bit of pushback, but then they understood what the purpose and reasoning behind that was so that we could have the time to vet it. And so then that way, that gave them that first 9 weeks to plan for the new school year for the 23-24. So we've had training with that, training with their MSIS coordinators throughout the district, and so it seems to be running pretty smoothly with our new form that we had. So thanks to everybody that helped us out with that with OTSSO.
Thank you. I know that there's a lot of work that went into that, and will continue as we look on ways to further improve that and with MSIS 2.0. So
yes, we're excited about that.
Okay, we have 2 more informational items. First one up is from Judy Nelson with ESSER updates.
Yes, so we just resubmitted our final ESSER year 2 annual performance report. And so we did the first submission by July 1st. And then we resubmitted, our second resubmission to correct any errors that USDE has identified. This was a big data reporting for LEAs and SEAs. And some of the things that we learned during this particular process, because the report was very intense, I should say, because school districts had to actually report FTEs. They had to report out how much was spent on different categories. And, you know, working in a school district, they don't have those categories on a purchase order or a requisition. And so it took a lot of time for districts to go back and research those expenditures. And so we know that as we roll out year 3 of the annual performance report, that we have to give district additional time to gather that information because we're looking at ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ARP reporting. For year 2, there was no reporting for ARP ESSER. Just a few districts, I would say less than 10 that reported for ESSER 2, but all 146 LEAs had to report on ESSER 1. But we know that with the year 3 reporting, the districts will have to report on all 3 of those ESSER grants. And so we have to give district enough time to collect that data. Another lesson learned is, I think this is a very important that OTSS has been working with us, is the data dictionary, because different words and different terminology, there was different interpretation about expended, and so that caused a big confusion at the very beginning of the data reporting. And so it's very important for us as we continue to roll out the data reporting components of ESSER that we clearly define those terms that's in the report. And so that was a lesson learned for ESSER 2, because a lot of people got confused about mental health support, what was funded from ESSER, what was not, FTE, expended, liquidated, so those different terminology. And so I'm grateful to the OTSS team for trying to develop a data dictionary so that could eliminate some confusion in regards to data reporting. And so that was a lesson learned. And another lesson learned is that, again, the auditors, our state auditors, are looking at what we're reporting out. And so I'm just giving other team members heads up. If any data is being reported, they are looking at the quality of the data just to ensure that the data is being reported accurately. And so data integrity is very important, because I do want to say this. The LEAs are not the one to get the finding from USDE or from the state auditor. It is MDE. Because we are the data stewards, we are responsible for the data that's being inputted by the LEAs. So we have to make sure that we have the documentation to support whatever data that they're inputting in, because they did come and ask for us some supporting data for the FTEs that the LEAs reported for the ESSER. And then they even wanted to show us to show that we reported the data on time. And so we had to go back and find emails. And so if there's any data submission, I would just like to say that take a screenshot of that we submitted the data so you can have proof of that, because the email might not be clear, because at one particular point the email was not clear. And so if you have any data that we haven't submitted, I would say take a screenshot that it was submitted and try to gather as much supporting evidence as you can in reference to the data that is being reported. And not only that, but just to ensure that we're doing our due diligence in reporting accurate data, and the data that we're reporting as Mississippi is quality data. Because as you know, all of the data is publicized. And so we just want to make sure that the information that is in the public is accurate and a true representation of Mississippi. And that's all.
Great. Thank you, Judy. Thank you for including those lessons learned there. It sounds like that was a huge undertaking, both for your office and for the districts to pull all of that data together. And I know it's hard with these ESSER funds because unlike other areas where we may have notification a year or two in advance of what needs to be collected and what needs to be reported, we're kind of learning as we go, for lack of a better term, with all the ESSER reporting. So I appreciate everybody's hard work on that, and hopefully that'll help us build our data dictionary and help us, like now we know what terms are confusing and make sure that we're all speaking the same language there too. And thank you for being a data quality champion. Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion on the ESSER updates? Okay. Next up, we have an update on TIMS 2.0 from Ms. Elizabeth Simmons.
So in December, the Mississippi Textbook Company or Textbook Depository closed after 100 years. And that was like day one of my new job as the textbook coordinator. So we had to rewrite some laws to ensure that we could have a regional textbook depository. So in that, we have procured a contract with Tennessee Book Company to not only be our depository, but they are also building a new TIMS 2.0. And this will be web-based and not Java or Oracle-based, which all the districts that we have spoken to in the last couple of weeks are super excited about that. That they don't have to have a certain type of computer or they don't have to have Java downloaded, that they can use any internet browser to get into the new TIMS 2.0. The biggest change will be that when they purchase textbooks from the depository, the order will automatically be uploaded into TIMS. So that will cut down a lot of time on the school textbook coordinator, as well as when we go in and do audits, the records should be a whole lot cleaner because they're not waiting until the last minute or they're not inputting their new textbooks. Along with that, it will track not only the print textbooks, which TIMS 1.0 does, but it also will track the digital licenses, which districts have not been able to do that. And it will also track purchase professional development from the textbook vendors. So we'll have data with print, digital, and PD, which will be new and will help us understand who has adopted high-quality instructional materials across the state. And the third part of that contract is the adoption system. So in the past, everything's been pretty much paper and pencil and in person. But Tennessee Book Company is creating a digital review site for us. They already use this in the state of Tennessee. So it will allow transparent access not only for the MDE or for school districts, but also for other stakeholders as parents, community members can see exactly what a particular district or school has adopted. Right now, we are meeting with Tennessee Book Company along with OTSS to ensure that we can move TIMS 1.0 data over using SharePoint so they can upload the data, get it cleaned up, and then districts will have a chance to kind of go in there and double check to make sure the information is correct. We're hoping that the depository and TIMS 2.0 will be set up and ready to go November, and then we'll start training December, January.
Okay. Yeah, let's see, Lee has
Deborah, I just want to say what an amazing job Elizabeth has done pulling this all together. She has truly just managed it all for us. We haven't all had to jump in and help her. She's just done a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, building a new system is kind of tough, huh? I think a lot of us have had some experience in that lately. There's a lot of work going on in the agency, but it's all exciting and hopefully all beneficial for our districts. any other comments or discussion around the Thames update? Okay. All right, our last couple of items here have to do with calendars. So the first one is a meeting date in November that we need to get on the books. We had a date proposed that didn't work. So we're going to come back for some other suggestions here. We do have the data dictionary scheduled for publication in December. So we really need to get a meeting on the books in November so we can review and approve that. So I think maybe the best way to do this is I'm going to throw out some dates, and if you can use the raise hand feature in Teams to let me know if that date works for you, and we'll kind of do a tally that way. I think that's going to work out best in the situation we've got here today. All right, so use the raise hand function if November 1st is a date that could work.
Deborah,
Mm-hmm.
this is Joanne. I'm raising my hand with caution. We may have to have a special call commission meeting, and that's one of the dates that we're looking at. But so I really am, I'll just need to know soon if that's the date you're going to go with, so I can work around it.
Okay. All right. Just giving a couple more minutes here. That one's not looking too good.
Will you state the date again, please?
November 1st. It's a Tuesday. All right, I'm gonna move on to another one. So hands down.
Okay.
Okay. What about November 7th? Probably in the morning. I know ELT meets during that time, but that one's looking worse than the one before. So let's try another one. And before I go on, are there any like major conferences and things that several people are involved with that are happening in November? Can you give me those dates so I make sure I avoid those?
15 and 16 is the dates that we have for our equity conference, tentatively.
Okay. Okay, what about November 11th? It's Friday.
It's a holiday.
Yeah, that's a holiday.
Yeah.
In my calendar? No wonder my calendar looks pretty empty that day. All right. What about the November 14th, Monday?
OLP University.
Okay. So we have about the same amount for the first for that one. What about the 18th, that Friday, November 18th?
We got the agency meeting.
Yeah, we would be looking for the afternoon for the 18th.
They were the only.
The only concern about that date is that's the Friday before going in to the Thanksgiving holidays, isn't it?
Okay.
And a lot of districts have the whole week off as opposed to, I'm not sure if people will be available or people leave for traveling. Especially the afternoon.
So that the 24th is Thanksgiving, is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's try one more. How about November 30th? All right, I'm gonna leave. So November 30th looks like a strong contender so far, sadly. I'm not a lie. Let's try one last one. November 29th.
Are you shooting for morning or afternoon?
Either one is fine with me. One more minute on that one. Numbers are going down, not up. So let's try, I think, for November 30th. That seems to be the one that most people are available for. So can I get a motion to set the next meeting date for November 30th, 2022?
This is Wendy, so move.
Thank you, Wendy. You have a second?
Give a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Great, motion carries. And we'll work on getting a good time of the day to get that set. All right, the next item is just a poll of sorts. We, as you know, a lot of you were involved in a first meeting for MSIS 2.0 to go over some data governance questions that are coming up as we start to build out the new system. Those are going to be ongoing meetings that we'll need to have. So we're looking at setting up a biweekly cadence for those meetings so that we can get some time reserved on everyone's calendar. I know this is the toughest thing. I think I would like to work this through the chat, and we'll compile these results later on and get this through. So which day of the week and time works best for everyone? Now, I will say, like, how do Monday mornings look for most people? I know, like, that's a time that's usually freer on my calendar because ELT is meeting during that time. And so I know some people get pulled in to ELT occasionally. But just throwing some out there, Monday mornings, Friday afternoons, and for some reason, Wednesday mornings, you know, are pretty good on the OTSS side, but I know lots of you have other standing recurring meetings. So if you could just in the chat give us some general times that work for you on a every other week basis, like for example, you know, like Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, that kind of thing, so we can get the best consensus to get a regularly recurring meeting set up. And if you're joining, if you're meeting together with other folks there, feel free to have, you know, share the chat. I'll just give a few minutes for those to roll in. Man, I don't see a lot of Friday afternoons. You guys don't like late Friday meetings?
All that was even a selection.
All right, if you still need to enter a response, you can you know, keep going on the chat for this meeting, and we'll be capturing those and trying to get something out set on your calendars for a recurring meeting. And you know, once again, you know, for anybody who wasn't there, I think we had a really great work session last week on MSIS 2.0, digging into a lot of questions and you know, trying to resolve some issues that, you know, things that we don't like about the current system, and helping us move forward on that. So this is going to be great work, and we can also, you know, if there's a particular topic that we need to pull specific people in for, we can always schedule some of those ad hoc as well. So thank you all for your input on that. So that was the last item on our agenda today. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
For Joanne, Lee for the second there. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You know, have a great day.